Secret Keeper by Kate Morton. Not got this book, I've taken it back to the library. I did feature it in a book haul previously. Now, I absolutely loved this book. This is the first Kate Morton that I'd read, and I certainly want to go on and read some more. I've already got The House at Riverton and The Distant Hours, which I've got over there, so they're waiting now on my TBR list, because I really loved her writing and her plot building and her characters. It was fabulous. So The Secret Keeper is set in 3 time zones. It's set in the 1930s, the 1960s, and also in present day. Now, we've got Laurel. Now, Laurel is one of the main, how can we say, there's so many different main characters in here as the plot weaves that it's sort of difficult to say, oh well, Laurel's the main character or her mother Dorothy's the main character. So we've got so many vital people, characters within the whole of the book, 'cause it's quite chunky. So basically Laurel is one of the daughters of Dorothy, and she witnesses something. She's sort of playing in the garden and in hiding, and she witnesses something that takes place when she was a young girl, and it's had a long lasting effect on her really. And so what she wants to do in present day is to find out more about her mother's past and find out more information so that she can help put this how come it's a bit like post-traumatic stress, I suppose. She keeps getting flashbacks of this actual incident that took place, and she wants to be able to move on from this and to put all this to rest, to get closure on it, I suppose. So there's so many pieces of the jigsaw that are missing for her that she has to do quite a lot of investigating. So as we go back into her mother's backstory in the 1930s, we then are introduced to 2 other main characters, Jimmy and Vivian. So they're very important in everything that takes place in the backstory. The relationships are really well executed between all these characters. The plots, because there's so many twists and turns to the plot, I really can't say too much because it would be too many spoilers that's involved in this. It's one of those books that you've really just got to read for yourself. If I started discussing what was happening in the 1930s, the 1960s, I think it would give too much away. It just kept me engaged the whole time. It's quite a chunky book. I took it to read on holiday, and it was the best thing because I could, you know, just concentrate on it and really get into the atmosphere of it all really. And it got me really wanting to learn the truth, to find out more about her mother's backstory and what led to this thing that happened. I have to say that I didn't expect the ending, and I always, for me to really enjoy a book has got to have a fantastic ending, and this did. Don't be fooled into thinking that you know what the ending's going to be. You think it's predictable. You sort of, in your own mind, you've got it all sorted. It's totally right, I know what's happening here, and whoosh, out of the blue something really, really unpredictable happens at the end of this. So I really loved this. I gave it a 5-star read. Everything that I wanted from a book for me. The characters, the plots, the twists and turns, and a fantastic ending. I'm left so disappointed with many books when endings spoil things. So yes, please go and read that. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And then the final one, which is another 5-star read for me. Let me find where I've written my notes. Don't write it down, I'll forget. Right, okay. Now, The Pilgrimage of Harold Fry, Rachel Joyce. Now you'll recall from one of my past videos, and I'll put a link down below if you've not seen that. We went to see Rachel Joyce at Beverley, and I got this and the parallel book, the story of Miss Queenie Hennessy, who is the lady that Harold's going on a walk for. So basically the premise of this is this retired gentleman gets a letter from Queenie Hennessy to say goodbye. She's terminally ill, and you know, she wants to say her last goodbyes, and he decides sending a letter back isn't enough, so just on a whim he decides he's going to walk practically from one end of England to the other, and this is his pilgrimage on the way. Now, what I'd written in my notes here is the concept of someone actually walking from A to B to pay the last respects to somebody that's terminally ill. You'd think, well, actually, I think that'll be quite monotonous. You know, they're walking from A to B and they'll meet a few people on the way. However, I've put that this debut novel by Rachel Joyce is so much more. And I just put a few thoughts down just to get, you know, us all thinking. And I put, how often do we stop and reflect on our own lives, our own journey through life, the good, the bad, the indifferent? Are we in relationships which have become mundane and where we take people for granted? Are we grieving the loss of a loved one and are stuck and cannot find our way to move on? Have we mistreated others in a way we have regrets and would like to make amends? This book, I feel, tackles all these issues. Harold's walking over 600 miles. He's meeting people along the way, several characters along the way, but he's reflecting on his life's journey. And actually, while you're walking with him, I found that I was doing the same. You start looking at your own journey, your own life. The characters are well developed. We also got Harold's wife Maureen, his son David, and a neighbour who's we get to know in a lesser degree, really. Queenie's character, we get to know a little bit about Queenie, but that's going to be more well developed in the next book, the Queenie Queenie Hennessy story. So, you know, he is walking to see her, but she's not one of the main characters in this. But like Harold, I was reminded and actually heartwarmed by the fact that, you know, people can surprise you. There are still heartwarming stories around the world, people helping others, acts of human kindness. I think we've seen that recently with all, you know, some of the terrible terrorist atrocities we've seen, how people, you know, help others. And, you know, how human kindness still exists today, which was really heartwarming. My least favourite section, if I had to find one, and that's only a minor criticism, really was where we got a group of hangers-on that joined in. And more people kept joining and more hangers-on. And actually they were there for their own selfish reasons, I felt. And then we got a media circus joining in. So in a way I felt it spoilt the flow a little bit for me. It didn't take away the fact that I gave it 5 stars, because it wasn't enough of an annoyance. And in some ways I understood why Rachel put that in. It was a very valid comparison to the selfless attempts of Harold to go on this journey to say his final goodbyes, and I understood why you know, it very much showed us that there are individuals that do things for their own ends and for the publicity, etc., and the media circus that follows that. So I'd like to know what people thought. It didn't, you know, just a minor thing if I had to find criticism. So the other thing is that although it's Harold who's making this pilgrimage, Maureen, his long-suffering wife, goes on her own journey. I feel that she goes on her own journey alongside him, which I enjoyed as much as Harold's journey. And I have to say that it was a journey that I think she desperately needed to go on, and it was needed for the sake of the two of them. So I thoroughly enjoyed this. Not really a massive plot, so if you just want a real, you know, if you're only interested in something that's very plot driven, then you won't find it in this. We know he's going from A to B and the people he meets along the way. But this one, it's very thought-provoking. It's still having an impact on me, and I think it will for quite some while to come. And I just want to leave you with this, really. It said that ended up feeling really that life is too short to just muddle along, bear grudges, or have regrets, too many regrets. If you really want to do something, achieve something, or go somewhere, don't put it off. Do it now. And I think that's what this book has taught me. And so therefore I gave it 5 stars. I thought it was excellently written and very thought-provoking, and has had a big impact on my heart, I think. So they're all the books that I've read the first part of October. Thank you for joining me for my first review. Please, if you'd like to join me on this new journey of mine in BookTube, please subscribe in the button below, and see you again soon. Bye bye for now.